There's something about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now that, dare I say, feels special. And I'm not the only one who notices. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast today. Let's talk about the special feel of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've come on here more than once and have talked about how I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are a Super Bowl contending team, and that window opens right now. Do I believe that they go out and win a Super Bowl in 2023? Probably not. But would I be shocked if it happened? No. The Steelers Super Bowl window is certainly open just because on paper, everything aligns. They have a rookie quarterback or a second-year quarterback on a rookie contract. They're able to pay everybody else. They now have veterans on the offensive line, a star left tackle that they hope turns into a franchise left tackle, a big-name wide receiver, another big-name wide receiver, a veteran big-name wide receiver, and then a second-year wide receiver that's coming into his own and hopefully takes off as he returns from injury. They stacked up the defense. They added to their cornerback room and somewhat fixed their secondary. They did all the necessary things that needed to be done for them to compete. Now it's about putting it on the field. And that's what we waited for. And it went through 3 weeks of OTAs and 3 days of minicamp. And in those 3 weeks of OTAs and 3 days of minicamp, the Steelers found themselves feeling exactly like I tried to say they were going to this summer. NFL analyst Brian Baldinger said that he's been to 6 different OTAs and quote unquote, I haven't seen a practice like this. They might as well put the pads on. That's how much energy is going on at the Pittsburgh Steelers facility during minicamp. It was wild. It was eye-opening, and there really wasn't a dull day. That was the hottest topic of conversation, was every single day a new guy was making plays. There was new news to talk about, new highlights to go over, and a new name in the mix for some position or some position battle. At no point was this a dull minicamp and OTAs period. It ramped up right from the jump, and it never died down. And I think the players noticed too. George Pickens talked about it very briefly. He said, yeah, he feels it. He feels the energy. He feels the vibe. He feels how this team is a little different.
Fun, kind of got the energy going with everyone.
Yeah, I'll probably say yesterday was one of the most energy days for sure. Everybody was screaming. It makes sense though. It's the first day of mandatory minicamp. But yeah, yesterday had the most energy for sure.
You guys have a vibe, like a real good vibe to you guys right now. You guys feel like this could be a little bit something special. I know it's early.
Yeah, it's super early, but like just the vibe of the people. I kind of said that like early in the early interview before we started practicing for real. I could tell like the vibe of the people are super cool, super ready to go, and they super energized too. That's the thing. Like I feel like I ain't gonna say the last group, but like guys last year we had energy, but this year is just like on field energy. See what I mean? So like a lot of more communication as well too.
How are you feeling? How are you doing personally?
Oh, I feel great. I feel like kind of what he was saying. I'm just enjoying the energy, to be honest, because like I like to watch guys go crazy. I like to watch guys make plays and stuff like that. So it's real fun for me.
The key words here are early. It is very early in the offseason. It's very early in the summer. They still have all of training camp to go, 3 preseason games, and then they go to the regular season. There are things that we can't report on that might have looked bad. There are things that we can't report on that might have looked good. The Steelers are still as unknown as they come within the NFL because it's a very limited window of what we're allowed to see and what we're allowed to talk about. But the Pittsburgh Steelers feel it themselves, and that's huge because when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's not about us. We could talk this team up all we want, and many are going to, myself included. I'm not a guy who's going to sit on here and talk about how the Pittsburgh Steelers are never going to win a Super Bowl again, and they're going nowhere, and Kenny stinks, and Mike Tomlin should be fired, and what are you doing? Who cares about winning seasons? It's about playoff wins. That's not me. I will be critical when I need to be critical, but in the long run, I'm a positive guy looking for positive feedback, giving positive energy. And the Steelers seem like a very positive energy team, positive energy atmosphere. Now everybody notices it, George Pickens included, And that's something special. It needs to continue into training camp. Guys cannot get complacent. Guys cannot lose focus. There cannot be any hostility. They are about to challenge themselves. And I think that's the biggest part here is the Pittsburgh Steelers leave minicamp. They head to Latrobe for about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And in those 4 to 6 weeks, they're not going to leave. They're going to hang out with just each other. They're going to bond. They're going to practice every single day. Things are going to get hostile. Things are going to get aggressive. Competition is going to get high, and there will most definitely be fights. There are always fights. Offense and defense are different sides of the ball when it comes to football. Those people stand on the field in different colored jerseys, and they compete on different teams, even if they're on the same one. Things always get aggressive. That testosterone always flows a little bit stronger. The Steelers need to keep their focus. They cannot lose it at any point during this camp. They just need to continue to get tighter. They need to keep that energy up, and they need to keep things rolling. You'd think that 2-3 years ago at the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career, that's when the Pittsburgh Steelers would be at their highest. That's when things would have been peaking, and this is the time to make a run. But in the NFL life cycle, it's right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are exactly where they need to be to succeed. They have a general manager in Omar Khan who is not afraid to make moves and will continue to make moves when he sees fit. And if the Steelers need somebody, he'll go get them. Almost guaranteed. They have a coach that's already making waves because his mini camp speeches make you want to run through a wall. And if you haven't seen the Mike Tomlin clip, go check it out because it is definitely worth watching. They have a young quarterback. They have a veteran backup just in case. They have a running back that is still developing and growing into a star. They have an offensive line that just added a left guard who played in the Super Bowl last year, a first-round left tackle, and they've come into their own on the right side of the ball in Chuks Okorafor, James Daniels, and Mason Cole. They grabbed a giant tight end. They grabbed Allen Robinson. Pat Freiermuth should only get better. Connor Hayward should only get better. Calvin Austin returns after an injury, and man, everybody is super excited about that guy. The defense added 2 inside linebackers, a Hall of Fame cornerback, 2 rookie corners that are set to make an impact this season. They're looking for a new nickel. They got a giant man named Keanu Neal at safety who could also play inside linebacker. They added a nose tackle. They added 2 more veteran nose tackles. I could keep going. The list is there. The team's there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are there. Every piece of this puzzle is exactly where it needs to be. Now it's about the play on the field. That's all we waited for. Were the Pittsburgh Steelers going to be just as special when they stepped into a practice and stepped into a game as they are on paper and as they are in our heads? The formula matches up. The formula adds to competition, being a contender. But not everybody's a contender. It's about how you play. And to hear that the Pittsburgh Steelers are this energized early feels really good. It means that they're in a place that they could thrive from and at a place where if you're going to start strong, this is how you're going to do it. Young teams get energized and bring the juice and don't let it go, and that's how they win. We'll see if it continues, but right now you got to feel really good about where the Pittsburgh Steelers are, and even better that those on the field feel it just as much as those watching.